Alright everyone, it's time for Vermont Issues episode 118. Vermont is forcing towns to pay to upgrade roadways to meet new standards for runoff. But at the same time, it's like, shouldn't they be spending money on making the roadways more passable? As in, oh yeah, a few less potholes, a guardrail here, where three people have careened off some hill. I would think that would be a more immediate pressing issue. It would potentially also be cheaper for them to accomplish. So we have continuous problems with the road budgeting, where the state and the townships, they pay through the nose, and the people come in, you can see them. There'll be 5 dudes standing around watching one dude digging a hole or some shit like that. No wonder it takes so long. No wonder it's so fucking expensive. They get built constantly, and yet you want them to spend even more money now to prevent storm runoff, sewage runoff. Now that's important, you don't want a bunch of bullshit in your rivers and lakes. But I would think, considering after so many years of that happening anyway, we've also still got dilapidated roads. Which one should we tackle first? I think that we should figure out a way to maintain the roads that we have in proper working order. You know what else causes a little bit of pollution is when a car goes off a cliff and smashes onto some rocks, and all of the lubricatory fluids and fuel begin leaking out everywhere, and pieces of glass and metal. Yeah, I would think that causes a little bit of pollution even after you clean it up. Maybe that's something we should think about. You know what else causes pollution? Somebody goes flying out of their windshield because the roads are terrible and ends up nothing more than a bloody, tattered smear on the ground, being pecked at by crows. And it's probably a problem. Also, you realize that a lot of that traffic anyway isn't the result of native Vermonters. It's the result of tourists coming in by the millions to gawk at trees or go skiing. I would think that causes a little bit of... Aren't there environmental issues with having large swaths of deforestation on top of some of the bigger mountains within the state that people like to go skiing on? That's a concern too. See, we've got environmentalism within Vermont, and that's a good thing. But sometimes it lacks common sense, like with the wind turbine thing. Oh, we need to put them here. No, you can't because we can hear them. No, you can't because we can see them. All the not in my backyard people. Nobody has thought to simply install home solar, subsidize it directly, slap it on local businesses, and give them some sort of little tax break to host a bunch of solar panels. It's a better alternative. You don't have to use any additional land. Maintenance will be easier. It's more efficient over time. Do that. Fuck the windmills, essentially. There's no reason to put the windmills up. Solar panel stops working properly. Whoop, it stopped working, shorted out. Any other electrical system could do the same thing. The windmill stops working properly and begins to destabilize on a windy day, and all of a sudden 300 feet of metal comes careening down and exploding off of the the cliffside. It might be a little bit more difficult. Also might start a forest fire. We need to think logically and rationally and prioritize things. The state's got it in its mind, and some of the townships too, that there's a limitless amount of money that they can tap into to pay for literally everything. That's not the case. So why don't you figure out which one is probably more important, and then go for it, and then progress, see where things are. Or if you want to pay for this sort of stuff alongside making sure the roads aren't half pothole, why don't you consider axing something else that you pay for? I don't know, go through the entire budget of the state, each township, find out what you're paying, see where you can cut a few costs out. And then maybe, you're going to have to get higher efficiency in, though, with the road work, because again, right now, it takes 5 people to dig a hole. It takes 20 people to clear a road. It's not supposed to do that. It's not necessary, though. The local citizenry, acting on their own because their roads are shitty, sometimes operates better. I can't remember which city it was out in I think it was a West Coast city. I think it might have been Seattle. There was some area, it had shitty roads, and the citizens got so pissed off they filled in the potholes themselves. And I think the city came in and said, no, you can't do that. You can't maintain your own roads. Only we can do that. Well, you're not actually doing so. You look at some of the roads here in Rutland, they're total crap. Honestly, the main roads, they're well maintained. They do a fine job with that. The highways are okay. Off of the major arteries, though, it's it's definitely a secondary road, as in it's an afterthought to the town and to the state to think that they need to be maintained. It's really a travesty. That's about all. Peace out.